Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. The highest inflation in 30 years is hitting consumers in the pocketbooks, especially with holiday shopping around the corner.
To tell you the truth, my wife and I have talked about maybe not even buying too much Christmas at all.
Ahead, we talk with an economist about rising prices and the reasons behind it. The city continues to clean up areas affected by a controlled burn that rained lead-contaminated debris on a core neighborhood.
Honestly, we'll regret this. This is not... We don't intend to cause harm. We are here to help. We are here to save people.
The Bloomington fire chief says there'll be no more practice house burns in the city while he's in charge. And Bloomington city planners are proposing a new method for prioritizing sidewalk construction projects to increase accessibility. Those stories plus the latest news headlines right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, nearly 2 years into the coronavirus pandemic, supply shortages have become the norm, and inflation is hitting 30-year highs. As Mitch Legan reports, a convergence of issues is setting the table for the most expensive Thanksgiving yet.
I'm making tacos, a chicken casserole.
We met up with Darcy Teague as she unpacked her haul from her latest trip to the Bedford Walmart.
The beef was, I think, almost $5 and before $5 per pound. Before I was paying probably about $2.53.
Like many Hoosiers, grocery runs have become more expensive for Teague. A trip that would have fed her family of 5 for a week used to cost $150.
Now it's probably about $200, $250 a week. Sometimes more if we have to get like toiletry stuff.
The jump in grocery prices is the biggest in a decade. Milk is up 4%, fruits and veggies up 3%, and meat, poultry, and eggs are up almost 12% from last year. The jump in prices means Teague searching for deals and planning out meals that'll have lots of leftovers.
What I make now, I have to make things that are more affordable. So I'm cooking more chicken now instead of beef.
When it comes to turkey, she has extra reason to be thankful. Her in-laws are hosting Thanksgiving, and it won't be cheap. The average cost of this year's turkey dinner is about $53. Price hikes in Seymour are causing some people to think about the holidays.
To tell you the truth, my wife and I have talked about maybe not even buying too much Christmas at all.
The last Consumer Price Index showed overall inflation at its highest since the 1990s.
The biggest part of it, I would say, is the supply chain disruptions that we're seeing and some of the challenges in the labor market.
Anderson points to issues with supply and demand. Many families bought less at the beginning of the pandemic. As government stimulus checks rolled in, they started spending.
People have held off of spending over the last year and a half. So that's causing there to be more demand for goods and services than we can provide right now. And the result is higher prices.
At the same time, producers and manufacturers had to slow down production. When people started spending again, they weren't ready to meet the spike in demand. Many have had to bump up wages to convince people to come back to work. That's led to increases in shipping costs and production delays in the supply chain. And when one part of the chain suffers, the rest is affected.
During the holiday season last year, there was still product in the U.S. Warehouses were still full. Now there aren't stocked warehouses. We've kind of run through that, so people are having to bring things from outside of the states in.
At Goods for Cooks, supply chain disruptions have sent shipping costs up by 50% in some cases. Last month, Aibling received an order of toasters that she had placed the previous October.
And so eventually something's got to give, and it gets passed on. So sometimes temporarily, sometimes not.
Many economists say the inflation we're seeing is transitory or temporary, but that doesn't mean it'll be fixed anytime soon.
I think a lot of the supply chain issues are likely to be addressed in the next 4 to 6 months. So we should see some alleviation there in terms of pricing pressure. But, it's very likely that the market will be impacted into 2022 because of this.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
We're joined now by Andrew Butters. He's an assistant professor of business economics and public policy for IU's Kelley School of Business. Hello and welcome.
Hey.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, great to be here.
So inflation at its highest in 30 years. Is it accurate to compare today's economy to what it was 30 years ago, or are there too many unique events right now?
So I think it's a little bit hard to compare the two inflationary episodes, that we're having here and as opposed to the previous ones in history. And I think a lot of that's just due to the fact that this is coming off a global pandemic. So a lot of the factors that are very much unique to the current situation, I think, are a little bit more difficult to then say an apples to apples comparison relative to times past. Just one thing to point to that would be just we're in a very different interest rate environment right now than we were 30 years ago. And so I think it's a little bit too hard to make those comparisons, I think.
Sure. How about the recently signed infrastructure bill? Does that have any effect now on the supply chain that we've been seeing that there are problems about?
So I think it could certainly help a little bit, but I wouldn't want to give anyone the impression that it's going to be this sort of magic silver bullet that's going to address all the issues. And I think one thing to note on that is that what we're really experiencing is the pressures that we're facing coming from a global supply chain, and so a lot of the elements of the bill are going to be, very much focused to the infrastructure of this country, which will certainly help move goods around this country. But I think, it'll be limited in terms of how it could release the pressures that we're seeing right now.
Should people just be concerned overall about the economy? Prices are up, but so is consumer confidence.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think, my own take is that I'm cautiously optimistic. So we had, household savings has really been really high as of late. We saw, the unemployment rate come down quite a bit. And we've also seen, really pretty strong growth. I know Q3 GDP was a little bit depressed, but we saw a really nice industrial production. So I expect Q4 and going into 2022 to be a really strong path for the economy.
Yeah. Unemployment is under 5%. Jobless claims are down, but everywhere you look, there's still help wanted signs. Does that make sense?
Well, I think that's one of the other pressures that we're seeing in addition to the supply chain is that, the labor market right now is really, really tight. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're still seeing labor force participation very much depressed. So there's still a lot of sort of missing Hoosiers in the labor market right now. And it'll be very interesting to see going forward how many of those end up returning to the workforce and helping out continue this growth in the economy.
Thank you so much for your time. We have to leave it there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we now go to my colleague Holden Absher for the latest headlines from around the state.
Thanks, Joe. Terre Haute is finally back on track to get a casino more than 2 years after the legislature made it possible. The Indiana Gaming Commission chose Churchill Downs Wednesday as the operator of the new facility. Churchill Downs' proposal had the biggest capital investment, $239 million, and the largest complex, including 3 restaurants and a 125-room hotel. It also plans to have 1,000 slot machines and 50 table games, which no other proposal topped. About 60 homes in the area affected by the controlled burn earlier this month on South High Street have been remediated. The city says work will continue until the area is free of lead-contaminated paint flakes. Pat Bean reports.
Environmental cleanup crews have been in the South Maxwell neighborhood area since November 9th. They've been vacuuming up lead-contaminated paint flakes and other debris that rained down on the area and testing the air, which they said showed no sign of lead dust contamination. Fire Chief Jason Moore said all those homes were in the immediate and secondary remediation zones mapped out by the city and the Indiana Department of Environmental Management.
They're also starting to work out into that outlying area. And again, as we're going through along this map, they're checking the properties next to it to see if they're seeing signs or issues that need to be remediated.
Moore said no one anticipated the problem of lead-contaminated paint flakes until after the November 5th training burn of the house at 1213 South High Street had begun. A resident who had come to watch the burn noticed the paint flakes and tested them for lead.
Originally, we had planned on allowing that fire to kind of burn itself out. So we immediately extinguished it instead of letting it burn.
Moore said in hindsight, the department and the property owner would have walked away from the agreement had they known about the lead paint issue.
Honestly, we'll regret this. This is not, we don't intend to cause harm. We are here to help. We are here to save people.
Moore said that the department would not do any more practice burns under his watch.
We did receive some very valuable training out of this, but it's not worth the risk.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
Bloomington city leaders officially opened the 7 line this week with a bicycle procession led by Mayor John Hamilton. 7th Street changes now include traffic lights at College Avenue and Walnut Street for cyclists.
7th Street isn't new. We didn't say let's make a new street, but our experiences with it will be.
And constructing the bike lane in June and made several traffic changes along the way, including the removal of stop signs and a bus stop. The path is currently 3/4 of a mile long, but the 7 line could be longer as plans come together to continue it east. The Bloomington Plan Commission granted secondary plat approval of the first phase of Habitat for Humanity's neighborhood near the RCA Community Park this week. The commission initially approved the designs for the 12.5-acre development at 650 West Guy Avenue last November. The neighborhood will be named Osage Place and feature 69 single-family homes and 7 common area lots in total. The first phase of construction will cover 5.3 acres and include 30 residential homes and 3 common area lots.
We think it checks all the boxes in terms of what the city needs with this specific type of housing, affordable housing for working families, low-income families.
Ferreira said phase 1 will be completed within 3 years. Family, friends, and social activists gathered outside the Jackson County Courthouse earlier this week to call for justice for a black woman who died while in the custody of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office this summer. Pat Bean reports on the case of Tanisha Chappelle.
We gotta get your justice, Tanisha Chappelle!
It's been 4 months since Tanisha Chappelle fell ill in her cell and died at the Jackson County Jail, and her family still is looking for answers.
My baby was murdered. This happened in the hands of law enforcement. I want to know why. Was it because of her tattoos, the tone of her voice, or the color of her skin? Why did this happen to my daughter?
The 23-year-old Chappelle died in custody July 16th, 2 months after her arrest for leading police on a chase through 3 counties. An autopsy concluded Chappelle died by toxicity of an unknown substance. Chappelle's sister, Ronisha Morell, and others at the rally on the steps of the Jackson County Courthouse in Brownstown believe Sheriff Rick Meyer and jail nurse Ed Rutan should be held accountable. They also want video surveillance from the jail released.
Jackson County Jail and any other participants in my sister's death must face charges.
Justice for Louisville organized the rally and chartered a bus to bring participants to the event held an hour north of Chappelle's hometown of Louisville. Speakers also included members of Until Freedom, a social justice organization based in New York City.
I don't know how much pain a black woman has to be for somebody to believe that she deserves some health care.
Chappelle's 10-year-old daughter, Nevaeh, said she missed her mother.
What happened to my mom is sad. She was the best mom, auntie, cousin, and daughter. She was one of a kind. She was the best mom if you ask me.
They all want to make sure Chappelle isn't forgotten as the state police investigation continues. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
The sheriff's office did not return calls for this story. The Chappelle family has filed a $30 million lawsuit against the jail and staff. With 2 games remaining in the Indiana football season, head coach Tom Allen is wondering where it all went wrong. The Hoosiers were coming off their most successful season in more than half a century, ranked number 17 in the preseason poll, and there was talks of competing for the Big Ten title. But Indiana has lost 6 straight games and is in danger of going winless in the Big Ten.
I did envision them to be able to be at this time of the year competing for and being in the hunt for a Big Ten championship. That was my vision. That was what I believed. And I don't go back to, I missed it on that.
Joe, Indiana plays its final home game Saturday against Minnesota.
All right, Holden, thank you so much. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Lawmakers gathered in Indianapolis this week to prepare their agendas for the upcoming session. Our Brandon Smith will tell us what to expect. And city planners want to change how they prioritize sidewalk construction projects around Bloomington to increase accessibility. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Wake up.
Wake up to the world.
To the marvels. The mayhem.
The music.
Wake up to the wows. The woes.
The wonder.
Wake up to the commotion. To the beauty.
To the humanity.
To the hope. Wake up every morning. Fully awake.
NPR Morning Edition.
Tune in to your local station or download the NPR app.
Year after year, PBS has been bringing you the news you trust.
We care about the things that are going to affect the lives of each and every American.
The in-depth analysis you need.
What we normally see in these big crises.
And the true stories that have to be told.
We're a place that people can come not just to find out what happened, but why it matters.
It's all thanks to the support of viewers like you. Thank you. And stay tuned to America's most trusted network.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The priorities for the upcoming legislative session will most likely include tax changes, vaccine mandates, and whether the legislators start the session early. Lawmakers gathered at the State House this week for Organization Day. That's the annual meetup where they highlight some of the issues they're going to focus on when they reconvene for the regular session in January. We're joined now by Indiana Public Broadcasting State House reporter Brandon Smith for more. Hello, Brandon. One of the big debates could be about cutting taxes, but you've been reporting the two Republican caucuses don't seem to be on the same page.
That's correct. Everybody agrees that the two Republican caucuses, Democrats even, there have been unprecedented levels of revenue surpluses in the last year or two here in Indiana. But the federal stimulus dollars that have been flowing into every state play a big role in that. And so Senate Republicans are kind of saying, let's wait to see how some of this settles out over the next year and maybe talk about tax cuts in 2023 when lawmakers will write a new state budget. But House Speaker Todd Houston wants to go ahead and explore that idea now. He's looking at potentially cutting the personal income tax as well as the business personal property tax.
It would help a ton of the small and medium-sized businesses in Indiana, and I think it's exactly the right thing to do. I think it's the last bad business tax we have.
So Indiana lawmakers are discussing coming back into session in December. Why is that?
Yeah, so they and Governor Eric Holcomb want to end the state's public emergency as it relates to the coronavirus pandemic. And Governor Holcomb has told lawmakers that he needs three things in order to do that. He needs them to change state law in three ways so that we can continue to get enhanced federal food benefits that we've had throughout the pandemic, enhanced federal Medicaid matching dollars that we've had throughout the pandemic, as well as allow the state health department to more easily give vaccines to 5 to 11-year-olds. Lawmakers are exploring how to do that, and they might come back in December to get those things done quickly so that that emergency declaration can end for the first time since March of 2020.
Another priority looking to counteract federal vaccine requirements set to go into effect in January.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much that the Indiana legislature can do about the federal mandates, but they are looking at their own state law and contemplating the idea of banning private businesses from imposing their own personal vaccine mandates. And that's something the Indiana Chamber of Commerce and its president, Kevin Brinegar, are opposed to.
Our position is that employers are in the best position to determine what's best for their employees, their customers, and their patients.
All right, Brandon, out of time. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Bloomington city planners are proposing a new method for prioritizing sidewalk construction projects. Holden Absher reports.
It's been said simply looking to the ground can reveal the extent to which cities value inclusive and accessible transportation. That's why Bloomington city planners hope to change the way the community prioritizes sidewalk construction projects.
We have extremely long sections of roads or roads that see a lot of traffic, see a lot of high-speed traffic, that are missing in these areas that are low income, low access, and have a high number of people without access to a car.
Rick Beil presented a new sidewalk equity improvement report during City Council's meeting 2 weeks ago. Instead of only using a request-based system to log improvement projects, Rick Beil says the city should prioritize all projects based on 10 different data lenses, like walk potential, population density, and transit to work score. This way, the city can prioritize projects that might have been pushed to the bottom of the current list.
We know that a request-based system has an inherent bias towards people who have the time, who have the social connection, have the education, have the perseverance to contact the right person at the city.
However, there is an easy way to identify which parts of town are in the most need of new sidewalks. A desire path is a space in the grass where you can see erosion because of foot traffic.
And that is probably the best physical indicator that we can see that there is an intuitive path that pedestrians want to take, but a pedestrian facility simply doesn't exist.
Rick Beil was inspired by an event the Council for Community Accessibility hosted in June, where it grouped city planners, elected officials, and citizens of various physical abilities together for a walk on one of 7 routes near Switchyard Park.
It was very eye-opening, and I loved that people really cared about, like, is this comfortable for you? Is this wide enough for you? Is this bump bad? Because that never happens otherwise.
Sizer attended the event as a community member in a wheelchair. She says Bloomington has become more accessible over the last 16 years, but she still faces issues in front of her own home on East Ruby Lane.
Well, my own block, we don't have sidewalk where I live. Really? So I have to go in the street.
Sizer says there are also issues with blocking existing sidewalks, specifically in the winter when snow is plowed into handicapped parking spaces near the sidewalk.
People like me who have a ramp van, we need those spots because those blue striped spots are so that we can lower the ramp and get off the ramp and turn. And they seem to think those are just like empty spots.
To best understand existing barriers for people with disabilities, the Sidewalk Equity Report calls for focus groups and mapping exercises, among other things. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Holden Apsher.
Inflation and supply issues are having local food banks heading into the holiday season. Mitch Legan has this report.
Yams?
Yams are a pain. They're the bane of my life.
Cindy Chavez is getting ready for her busiest time of the year, and she's having trouble finding yams.
This time last year, yams, the big cans were $1.79. And now they're, what, $3.67 on sale?
But it's not just yams. Price increases for just about everything have made finding food difficult for organizations such as Pantry 279. Chavez says grocery stores that were once able to provide pallets of food are running low on supply. The discounted rates are still discounted, but higher than before.
You want to ride with your eggs so they don't get cracked or anything? Here, pick those right up. There you go. You're all set there.
The pantry will give out 2,000 Thanksgiving boxes that will end up feeding 18,000 people in Monroe and the surrounding counties.
We're having a real issue with the turkey problem right now with Thanksgiving.
Luckily, she was able to secure 500 turkeys from Hoosier Hills Food Bank. Julio Alonso says they were able to avoid a shortage by purchasing their food in the spring.
And I think we've got some turkeys in here still. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think right now, if we tried to access food, there'd be a long wait for a lot of the popular items.
Both Alonso and Chavez say price hikes have cut down on donations. Last year, many people had increased savings and stimulus payments and were eager to help.
All that is dried up. People have been using their savings. People have been, to pay their bills. They're starting to get worried. The normal people are starting to get worried, let alone the people that don't have any money. A lot of people are evicted now that were not evicted last year.
The number of people Pantry 279 serves has dipped below last year's record highs, but it's still well above its pre-pandemic average. With inflation and supply shortages expected to continue through next year, Chavez says meeting demand will be difficult. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
In the past 2 years, restaurants have faced staffing shortages and limited business during parts of the pandemic. Gray Brothers Cafeteria in Mooresville is no exception. Phyllis Chaw has this report.
Family member and manager Andy Gray says the restaurant had to downsize at the beginning of the pandemic. They're still struggling with staff retention and few have applied for jobs there.
We gain 4, we lose 4. It's nobody's really coming in for jobs right now. It's a huge struggle.
Throughout, Gray Brothers Cafeteria has offered its famous variety of pies. The restaurant is a part of the Hoosier Pie Trail, one of the most popular culinary trails offered by the Indiana Foodways Alliance. The Indiana Foodways Alliance is a nonprofit organization that celebrates and preserves Indiana food culture. 21 trails span the state. But Alliance Executive Director Lindsay Skeen says many restaurants have struggled in the past 2 years because of the pandemic. Skeen said restaurant owners she's talked to are extremely dedicated, but may be overextended.
So many times I hear restaurant owners, they've given their all to their restaurant, and this is what they do. It's not a side gig, it's their life.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.